A mass migration away from war and violence. More than 1 million people have fled to Europe, a crisis that has burdened its borders. But some have found solace in South America. I'm Elaine Reyes in Washington, D.C., and this is America's Now.
Syrian refugees head to South America with the expectation of building a new life after running away from a conflict zone.
Allahu Akbar!
Maybe Brazil is just a station for another movement, yes. Or maybe I will stay here in Brazil, I don't know. But in Brazil I can survive until now.
You can't?
No, because there is no job.
Brazil opens the door to thousands of Syrians, but life in the promised land is not easy either.
The moment when you decided to leave.
Correspondent Jerry Haddon reports from Sao Paulo.
How are you? Yeah, good.
Then a Mexican man who's turning his popular transportation vehicle into a mobile library.
Maybe we won't be able to make a big difference, but if we are able to leave some of these kids with a thirst for knowledge, we have reached our goal.
For this week's Game Changer, meet Vico Yobo and its creator, Rodrigo Vasquez. And later, Cuba is back on the map for American tourists. How ready is the island to host the biggest wave of visitors in over 50 years?
Completely exceeding our expectations that the host has gone out of their way to find all of these. Not always easy to do.
But as the number of visitors...
Correspondent Michael Voss reports on how tourism is not only good news, but also a huge challenge for a changing Cuba.
Welcome to the show. As European countries squabble over how many refugees from the Syrian war to take in, an unlikely and faraway country has already opened its doors: Brazil. The giant of the South has taken in over 2,000 Syrians and has plans for 20,000 more this year. The country is fast-tracking their visas, making it an easy and safe destination. However, many Syrian refugees know very little of Brazil. As correspondent Jerry Haddon found in Sao Paulo, life isn't easy for them once they arrive.
Assalamu alaikum. Paz para você. Meu nome é Talal Altinawi, sou sírio e engenheiro mecânico. Eu vou falar sobre Síria, o Islã e o Brasil. Uma área praticamente igual ao estado de São Paulo. Antes da guerra, a Síria era bonita, tranquila, barata e fácil de se viver.
It's a lot to fit into a TED Talk.
A guerra começou em 15 de março de 2011. Depois de 5 anos da guerra, o meu país está destruído. Organizações terroristas surgiram com o nome do Islã. Hoje, milhões de sírios estão mortos ou refugiados. Muitas pessoas foram obrigadas a carregar a cadáver de seus filhos. Tiveram familiares desaparecidos. Tudo que você tem se perde no momento em que cai uma bomba.
These are donations
From Brazilian people to help Syrian people here in Brazil.
Can help about 200 or 300.
Right.
It's a lot.
It's a lot.
Yes.
How do you feel helping out your fellow Syrians?
Of course, I'm very happy about this. Because when I came here, I want anyone to help me.
Talal Al-Tiwani, husband, father of 3. One of the first of the nearly 2,000 Syrian refugees Brazil has taken in since 2012. He takes me in, tells his story.
And what, if I may ask, caused you to need to leave Syria?
because I still in the prison of government 3 months and a half. Why? Because my name is the same name of another one. The government of Syria need him.
When was that?
September 2012.
And you got out at the end of the year?
In January 2013.
Were you scared?
Of course, because I don't know if I will still alive or I will dead. My family didn't know anything about me.
Did they hurt you?
No. With me, no.
With others, yes.
Another? Yes, of course.
And then suddenly, they just let Al-Tiwani go. Like being given a second life, he says.
After 3 months, every day, every hour, I think I will die now. And after all of this, Talal, you are free.
Within weeks, Al-Tiwani was in Sao Paulo under the new government refugee plan, which it turns out isn't really much of a plan. To get by, Al-Tiwani sold kids' clothes on the sidewalk. Months later, with saved and borrowed money, he started this business, catering.
And who do you sell to?
Anyone who wants to buy anything, anything, he write to me in Facebook or in WhatsApp.
Unless you're starting from zero, in which case the only thing that makes sense is surviving. Al-Tiwani is a man driven by hardship, by love for his family, by fear of what could happen if he loses his way in this city. The Brazilian government, by taking in Syrian refugees, is betting that Al-Tiwani and others won't lose their way. Not because it's guiding them, but because there's a big Syrian and Lebanese community already in Sao Paulo. They came in waves after World War II in the 1980s during the war in Lebanon. Today, many volunteer helping new arrivals at NGOs like this one called ADUS. It's where Al-Tiwani learned Portuguese. It's where his wife, Garça, is learning how to open a business.
أنا قرينا الإعلان بالفيس إنه شركة بيفيرز عاملة مشان النساء السوريات إنه حابة إذا حابين يشتغلوا إذا حابين يعرفوا شيء عن الشغل ياخذوا فكرة عن العمل هون بالبرازيل.
I wonder if your wife could just tell us, recounting the moment when you decided to leave and how she felt about that decision.
كان كتير قرار صعب، كنت خايفة منه كتير لأنه جايين على بلد ما بنعرفه، بس ما كان في عنا حل غير إنه نطلع ونطلع الشغل.
You feel like this has become home?
بس بدي أروح إنه أبي وأخواتي وبس لا بدي أرجع لهم.
Brazil is talking about taking in some 20,000 more Syrian refugees over the next year. At a summit in Saudi Arabia in November, it announced it was well on its way.
I would like to express our concern with the big problem of refugees from Syria and other points in the region, and I'd like to express the Brazilian solidarity to the displaced peoples. We have been working together with our friends and brothers in the region, and Brazil is going to accept a large number of refugees. We have already issued 8,000 visas.
All this makes Brazil look good on the world stage, says Marcelo Aidu, the director at ADUS. But stamping passports, he says, is the easy part.
O governo tem papel importante no sentido, primeiro, de permitir que essas pessoas entrem ao nosso país, no processo de legalização, né? Então, todos eles estão aqui com RNE, carteira de trabalho e CPF, podem estudar, trabalhar sem nenhum problema. Depois disso, fica mais complicado. Grande parte do trabalho voltado à integração local está basicamente a cargo das organizações não governamentais. Porque o governo não dá conta de fazer aquilo que é de sua responsabilidade, né? Não basta o governo abrir as portas, permitir que esses estrangeiros entrem e uma vez dentro não se faz praticamente nada.
And helping them will only get harder. Brazil opened its doors when the economy was booming. It's now sinking fast. Right next to ADUS is Sao Paulo's public housing agency. The lines here keep getting longer and longer. Rogério Franco.
Eu tenho essa inscrição já há 5 anos. Ela não tem uma data certa.
And what do you think in general about your countries opening up to refugees and trying to offer them housing and a possibility of...
Apesar de problemas internos, eu estou gostando. Eu gosto de ver que de repente você tenha um caminho para ajudar quem está necessitando, que venha de fora nessa situação.
Syrians say ordinary Brazilians have been like Franco, kind, accepting. And the well-established Muslims, working out of local mosques, keep stepping up to help. They bus refugee families to a hospital outside the city for free checkups. Ayman al-Atrash and his family got to Brazil 5 months ago from Yemen. The day is long. Al-Atrash's mother has arthritis and trouble with her legs. His oldest son, Faisal, has a bad cough. Al-Atrash himself needs new glasses, and he might have an ulcer. Not surprising, given what he escaped from. Al-Atrash is Syrian, but lived and worked in Yemen for years.
Allahu Akbar!
Saudi Arabia is fighting an insurgency there. Al-Atrash says this was one of many bombs that fell close to his home.
Maybe Brazil is just a station for another movement, yes. Or maybe I will stay here in Brazil, I don't know. But in Brazil I can survive until now.
You can't?
No, because there is no job. I can't find a job because I need to be, I know the Portuguese language.
Hi, man. How are you?
Are you fine?
Yeah, good.
Al-Atrash is studying, but the language is coming slowly.
Hello. Hello. Bom dia. How are you today?
In the meantime, he lives here in this sparsely furnished apartment in a rough part of town.
Do you think the fact that there was a Lebanese Syrian community already in Sao Paulo helped you to have an easier transition?
Yes. Yes, because without them I don't know anyone here. So they helped me to have this apartment. I ability to pay rent, so they pay rent. They helped me to find a job. And even when my kids, Faisal was have the dengue, it's a difficult disease here. They are there. They helped me take him to the hospital. Without them, I can't manage myself.
For all the problems you might face in Brazil, there are no bombs falling.
No, there is no bombs. Sure, it's a safety country. I hope it will stay like that. And even you told me that I am lucky.
Luckier, say, than some refugees from other countries, like Haiti or the Republic of Congo. Hundreds, maybe thousands of those refugees have gone years without help. They live in abandoned buildings around the city.
Meet you. Hi. Pleasure to meet you.
Hello.
This was the Hotel Cambridge. Now about 150 families squat here, mainly Africans. Pichu Luambo is a lawyer, or was. He made it to Brazil in 2013, after France and Canada turned him down.
This is the most organized squad I've ever seen.
Sim, isso é a nossa organização aqui. Aí de manhã cedo nós acordamos sem saber de nada. Aí começou a guerra. Começou bomba, tiroteio. Quando parou 15 horas, nós saímos de lá, vimos mais de 1000 cadáveres na rua. Aí depois eu comecei a procurar como sair. Podemos admitir que a história do Brasil é esse do racismo, porque tem aqui duas raças, tem branco e negro. Aí esse racismo que se trata aqui, que chegou a tentar se tratar também com os refugiados, no lado dos refugiados. Só que eu não acho que isso é justo. Porque todo mundo, quando está aqui já, um refugiado da Síria, que é do Congo, que é da África, precisa ser tratado do mesmo jeito, do mesmo nível. Aqui, quer dizer, já fugiu do perigo. Mas quando chega aqui, é muito lamentável para ser tratado diferente. Por quê? Com argumento que uma pessoa pode dar. Então, o argumento óbvio é causa da pele, Porque não tem outro argumento. Porque eu fugi da guerra, o Sírio também não fugiu da guerra. Porque chegando aqui vai ser tratado diferente. Porque eu preciso esperar um ano para conseguir documento, ele não.
Sao Paulo denies the racism charge. The proof, it says, this brand new transitional home for refugees. 25 families, Africans and Syrians. And it's not just a roof. Volunteer Crispim Colonge came from Angola back in the 1990s. When he got here, he says, he lived under a for 9 months. Today, he owns a chain of language schools.
When you are a refugee, you have nothing but your life, so dangling hands, you know? So sometimes you have no dignity. So it's not only about teaching Portuguese, but it's trying to restore dignity, it's trying to make them believe that they can do that. I did, so anybody can. So sometimes this is a problem, like, you know, the classes are free, and we expect 25 students, and we have only 3, so they're kind of lazy. But this laziness is also understood because of where they're coming from. People are really broken heart and these kind of things. So we don't work only with the language.
Okay.
So we work with the language, of course. We try to motivate them, to make them understand how important it is for them to speak the language, you know, and the advantage they can get from this.
For Talal Al-Tiwani, the trick is to keep busy. He's up at dawn, teaching Brazilians how to make falafel, then selling it at a food fair. And then rushing off to give the public talk he's been rehearsing for.
How are you feeling? Yeah? Ready?
I'm training.
You've been training?
I'm training. At times.
Thank you. Knock him dead. Okay, tchau.
Tchau.
Tudo bem.
Obrigado. Meu sonho aqui no Brasil é que o mundo conheça melhor o Islã para acabar com o preconceito. Assim, meus filhos e seus filhos vão poder crescer juntos em paz. Wassalamu alaikum.
Al-Tiwani's outreach and hard work pay off, for him and for the steady stream of Syrian refugees. A Brazilian couple shows up randomly at his apartment with more donations.
Como você me conhece?
Pela internet.
Só internet e Facebook, acha?
You could suggest to Al-Tiwani that, you know, he'd take a day off. But most of us probably haven't lived through what he has.
The next day, until now, just running.
From the day you arrived until now?
Not the same day,
No.
next day.
The next day. You got...
It's the same day, 27, with the plane to come here.
Yes.
I couldn't work anything, but the next day, yes.
And you haven't stopped running since?
It's very difficult. Life here is very difficult. Good, but difficult. But not impossible.
Talal Al-Tinawi just fulfilled one of his dreams in his new life. In April, he opened his own Syrian restaurant in Sao Paulo.
Coming up.
Reading and learning while taking a motorcycle ride in northern Mexico.
I truly believe Nomad can change the life of young people through books and through art.
Welcome back to America's Now. Violence has forced many in parts of Mexico to limit their time outdoors and stay home. In the southern city of Juchitán, motorcycle taxis are the main means of transportation. They're also used as a tool in committing crimes like assaults and robberies. But a group of young indigenous artists is using the vehicle to carry culture to remote communities. It's the first of its kind in Latin America, a taxi filled with library books, movies, and music for people who don't have access to those resources. Meet this week's game changer, Rodrigo Vasquez.
No hay interés por parte de las autoridades para abrir espacios en donde la gente pueda acudir, que hayan espacios dignos, que hayan espacios donde se promuevan los talleres, se promuevan las pláticas, que sean constantes, ¿no? Tienen un potencial muy grande aquí en Juchitán. O sea, hace falta como ese empuje, ese acercamiento pues, a los libros, al conocimiento. Mi nombre es Rodrigo Vázquez, soy integrante del colectivo Bicuyuba y creador del proyecto Nómada. Muchos chavos utilizaban ese transporte para asaltar, para robar, y politizado porque grupos y líderes de partidos políticos ocupaban a estas unidades para bloquear calles, para bloquear carreteras, para exigir presión a demandas políticas. Entonces, pues, desafortunadamente la unidad pues, se fue para abajo, perdió prestigio. La gente antes en Juchitán salía a las calles, platicaba, era esa convivencia pues con los vecinos y los niños por ende pues jugaban en las calles. Y nos interesa mucho volver a activar esos espacios por medio de Nómada, por medio de hacer murales, para que no incidan en robos, para que no incidan en actos violentos. Nuestro interés es que la gente tenga acceso, que piense que los libros, que las artes no muerden y que rompan esa barrera para poder ellos acceder a la información. No nada más es para personas con un bagaje cultural alto, sino que pueda abarcar a todo tipo de público. Creo que ya estás incidiendo en otras personas y esas otras personas se van interesando poco a poco. A lo mejor no todas, pero 1, 2, 3 ya les sembraste esa semillita, esa inquietud por conocer, por querer aprender más.
¿De acuerdo? Bien, aplicamos entonces nuestro transportador, hacemos el mismo procedimiento. Somos un país que carece del hábito de la lectura. Entonces yo creo que estos proyectos contribuyen a que los estudiantes se involucren más y se interesen por la lectura. Yo creo que a través de la lectura estarían más informados, mejor preparados y esto les abriría mejores espacios, ¿no?, para el futuro. Yo creo que este es un claro ejemplo de que a nuestra escuela le hace falta y que debiéramos de alguna manera gestionar y tener ese espacio, darles el espacio. Este proyecto es lo que hace falta, o sea, trabajarlo más constante. Yo creo que hace falta exactamente el material para que los niños están interesados y les llama mucho la atención.
Nosotros traemos a Nómada cultural itinerante. ¿Qué significa esto? Que con este mototaxi vamos a diferentes colonias.
Nómada para nosotros puede cambiar la vida de un niño, de una niña, a través de los libros, a través de las artes. También es parte de nuestro quehacer, pues, meterle esa idea a la cabeza de que no todo es violencia, pues, ¿no? Vas a encontrar un abanico de posibilidades y pensar en que existen mundos mejores, pues, mundos posibles donde puedas tú ser una mejor persona.
Soon, Nomad will visit other cities and indigenous communities in the region. We'd love to have your input, so if you know someone who's helping change the world, drop us a line at an@cctv-america.com or tweet us at cctv_America and tell us about a game changer you would like to see on America's Now.
Coming up.
Getting ready for a new era of tourism in Cuba.
We've come to learn how they live and their cultural point of views and everything, how, you know, their way of life. So I think they appreciate how other people want to know how they live their everyday lives.
Welcome back. The most visible change in Havana since Cuba and the United States restored diplomatic relations is the number of Americans who have come to see the island for themselves. 160,000 Americans flew to Cuba in 2015. That's an 80% jump from the year before. There has been a mix of politicians, corporate executives, artists, and athletes all coming to build bridges and look for business opportunities. But mostly it's the just plain curious. As correspondent Michael Voss reports, an increasing number of Americans are starting to travel outside of the capital as well.
The narrow, cobbled streets of colonial old Havana have never been busier. Americans still can't come here as tourists, but Washington has eased travel restrictions, and the rush is on to experience this time warp of an island before it changes. As part of his historic visit to Cuba, US President Barack Obama further eased travel restrictions, allowing individuals to book flights here rather than come on expensive guided tours.
It's about time. And I think that it heals a lot of wounds, and I hope it will heal it for both countries, because I'd like to continue to come here.
I love Cuba. If you're thinking about coming, come. It's amazing. You're going to love it. The dancing, the people, cigars, rum. It's beautiful.
Cuba's infrastructure, though, is struggling. Hotels in Havana have doubled their prices and are still full. Even the colourfully dressed women who pose for pictures have increased their prices. It's proved a financial boost for Cuba's fledgling private sector. New restaurants are opening all the time, while homeowners are now renting rooms through online sites like Airbnb. And with US airlines due to start scheduled flights to Cuba later this year, numbers are expected to grow. The more Americans who come here, the more who want to get out of the capital, Havana, to see what the rest of Cuba is like. One popular destination is a valley called Viñales. The valley of Viñales in Pinar del Rio province lies about 170 kilometers from Havana. This UNESCO World Heritage Site, with its distinctive rocky outcrops, is Cuba's top rural tourist destination, attracting busloads of day trippers from the capital and the beach resorts. This band is performing at a 300-seat country restaurant, which is packed almost every day. Amongst the visitors, a school party from New York, including high school student Joel Garcia.
How do you feel you're being treated as an American in Cuba?
I mean, I feel that, you know, the people are very nice to us, especially because we're a school and we've come to learn how they live and their cultural point of view, their way of life. So I think they appreciate how other people want to know how they live their everyday lives.
Teacher Mary Maisano is one of the trip's organizers.
I think Cuba's on the edge of a change. And I think in a few years, this won't be the same Cuba. So we wanted to see it.
It's still looking pretty busy now.
A lot of people from isolated coming from New York, but Cuba's been open to the rest of the world for a long time.
Along with the day trippers, many more tourists come to stay for a few days for the outdoor pursuits. There may be thousands of tourists, but the valley covers more than 100 square kilometers, offering plenty of space to leave the crowds behind.
This is a fertile valley, and one of the principal crops is tobacco. It's been grown here for more than 100 years, and it's one of the things that attracts tourists to the valley.
Moises Suarez has been working in the tobacco field since he was 8 years old. Little has changed in that time. The harvesting is still done by hand. These days, conditions have improved, he told me, and having so many visitors to the valley also helps. Once harvested, the cigar tobacco is taken to drying sheds. There, the leaves will hang until they're naturally dry. The province of Pinar del Rio is known as the premium tobacco-growing region of Cuba. This farm has been in the Hernandez family since the 1880s. It was small enough not to be nationalized after the revolution, though Eduardo Hernandez's only customer is the state.
Nosotros le vendemos el 90% del tabaco. En mi caso no vendemos el 90%. Vendemos un 95, un 96%, es demasiado tabaco, solo para el consumo de la familia y para mostrarle al turista cuando llega a la finca.
And these days there's no shortage of tourists. The Hernandez family has become a cigar tobacco reference center in Viñales Valley, which many of the tour operators include in their itinerary. As well as tours of the farm, there are demonstrations on how to hand roll a cigar.
Hace unos 5 años comenzó a visitar el turismo porque nosotros sembrábamos mucho tabaco y fue una finca que le llamaron la finca de referencia para que visitara el turismo y le diéramos una explicación cómo funciona una finca, una cooperativa. Ojalá que entre mucho turismo al país, que es muy bueno no solo para el campesino, para el desarrollo del país.
In the heart of the valley sits the town of Viñales, a population of some 8,000 people. 3,000 tourists stay every night, a 13% increase compared to a year ago.
Viñales has long been a popular tourist destination, but as the number of visitors has grown, it's the private sector which has benefited the most. Every one of these restaurants is privately owned.
In 2010, there were no private restaurants. Today, according to the town council, there are more than 70. And the 3 state-run hotels now compete with more than 800 private homes, all offering bed and breakfast. Homeowner Juan Reyes is booked for the next 2 months and already taking orders for August. Most of his guests come from Europe, but he now plays host to Americans as well. Jessica Shao flew in from San Francisco and wanted to stay in private homes rather than hotels.
It's lovely. I think we want to have more interaction with the local people and want to understand their lives. We didn't come with a lot of expectations, knowing that it's a country that's been embargoed for so long, and completely exceeding our expectations that the host has gone out of their way to find all of these great food, which is not always easy to do.
Running a private bed and breakfast here presents all sorts of challenges. There's only one small bakery in the town and the shops are not well stocked. At times, Juan Reyes has to travel to Havana to find the basics he needs.
Tiendas mayoristas no tenemos todavía. Eso es uno de los problemas más grandes que todavía nos queda. La de conseguir los productos básicos como son el pan, la mantequilla, cerveza, agua, estas cosas son básicas y faltan. Si no lo hay en Viñales hay que ir a Pinar del Río y si no hay que ir a La Habana. Y si no, bueno, pues hay que decir que no hay.
But compared to a few years ago, the state is making it easier for him to operate.
Las cosas ahora están mucho mejor que hace años atrás, porque ahora los impuestos son más bajos, incluso para el pago final del año del fisco ha habido también más flexibilidad.
Some of those taxes are, for the first time, staying in Viñales rather than going to central government in Havana. José Antonio Valles is head of the local authority in Viñales.
Quedan parte de los impuestos para los ingresos fundamentales del territorio, para poder cubrir los gastos fundamentales del territorio, de las unidades presupuestadas, salud pública, la educación, la cultura, el deporte.
Tourism is the lifeblood of Viñales, giving many here the ability to boost their incomes with hard currency. Although some wonder how long the valley can maintain its character and charm as the number of visitors continues to grow.
For the first time in more than 50 years, an American cruise ship sailed from Miami to Havana. On May 1st, the Adonia stopped in Havana and 2 other cities, carrying over 700 passengers.
Coming up.
A circus show pitches its tent in the U.S.
This is Steve, and I'm Ryan, and we're the clowns here on Circo Hermanos Vazquez. We're the first gringo clowns that they've had, probably the last.
Holla! Welcome back to America's Now. From death-defying acts to clowns and animals, circuses have brought entertainment and enjoyment to audiences around the world for centuries. In Mexico, broke into the business almost 5 decades ago, making it a truly family affair for those performing and watching. Their acts filled with Latin flair became so well known they expanded to the United States. The Vazquez Brothers Circus is this week's Urban Voice.
It's one of the oldest businesses in the entertainment industry.
So can you tell us about what we're seeing here?
Yeah, we're setting up Circo Hermanos Vazquez. You're looking at the 4 towers. These towers are what support the big tent where the show goes on.
A giant tent that measures around 150 feet in diameter is home to the Vazquez Brothers Circus, otherwise known as Circo Hermanos Vazquez.
Se llamaba Circo Latinoamericano y era de mi abuelo Rafael Vázquez, ¿no? Y entonces ahí trabajaba mi mamá cuando era pequeña, mis tías y mi tío Raúl Vázquez. Entonces ellos andaban en los pueblos solamente en México, en los pueblos, en las rancherías.
Guillermo Vázquez is the ringmaster of the Vazquez Brothers Circus. He's also part of the third generation to carry on the family business.
You get out of the way.
Que ponga cara del güey.
Ven acá.
A business that is almost 50 years in the making.
Mis padres abrieron el Circo Hermanos Vázquez en 1969. No había ahora lo que tenemos ahora, los trailers, no había los camiones para mover el circo y no había la tecnología que hay ahora en las carpas, ¿no? Entonces ellos andaban en los pueblos y las carpas eran hechas con lona, con manta y muchas veces incluso con manta que era de los costales de arroz, de harina, unían eso y así se hacían las primeras carpas que había en México, ¿verdad?
Since then, the Vázquez have provided entertainment to all ages. And they've established a unique brand that spanned the Americas, starting in Mexico and later expanding to the U.S.
No dejamos México, simplemente trajimos un circo más aquí a los Estados Unidos.
Today, they continue to make history.
Ya se ha vuelto muy popular en muchas ciudades de los Estados Unidos. Cuando se oye el tema de la canción, la gente ubica que el circo ya está por llegar.
I like getting to hit him with a sledgehammer. That's a lot of fun.
It is kind of fun.
Kids do try that at home.
This is Steve, and I'm Ryan, and we're the clowns here on Circo Hermanos Vázquez. We're the first gringo clowns that they've had, probably the last.
Holla!
Yeah.
Really difficult juggling all the supermodels that we're dating. It gets confusing. And then what to do with all the money.
Yeah, and there's the circus clowns too. It's a little overwhelming sometimes.
Yeah.
The Vázquez Brothers Circus is now represented by its fourth generation.
We learned to tumble, and when I was old enough to choose the act that I really wanted to do, I chose the flute.
And they proudly carry on the family name and legacy.
It's our business to make people happy, to make people enjoy themselves with their families. The first thing that I've ever done in the circus was my juggling act. Well, I started practicing it since I was like 10 years old, and I finally got to work in the ring professionally at 13 years old. Today I'm 25 years old, and well, that individually has brought me some achievements, meaning that I went to Monte Carlo, I went to Russia, I went to China, and I worked in front of the Princess of Monaco, Stephanie.
Their show includes an international pool of artists who all come from a long circus history.
We have artists from all around the world, artists that are really difficult to bring over to the States.
I come from Czech Republic. I tried different kind of acrobatics and different kind of jungling and aerial acts, but this one is my favorite. I'm juggling with my feet. This is my props. I lie on my back and I juggle with my hands and my feet.
I worked in the circus half of my life, so I joined circus back in Russia, and I come here to US and I met my husband.
In 2013, the Pompeo family was introduced to the Vázquez Circus, bringing with them a popular dog show whose mutts can fly and dance. They rescue dogs from shelters and train them.
Es como los niños, a los perros hay que darles enseñarles la A hasta la Z. Poco a poco los vas enseñando a que hagan brincos, caminen en patitas, así hasta llegar a hacer saltos mortales, paradas de mano y muchas cosas más.
Yo me resisto a dejar los aplausos, a dejar el contacto con el público. Es un orgullo para nosotros ser ahorita lo que estamos haciendo porque siempre fueron muy visionarios mis papás, ¿no?
Combining half a century of tradition, the Vasquez continue to grow through their new generations and their evolving acts.
The circus performs across the Americas, with one group traveling in the United States and the other covering Mexico and Latin America. Finally, we take you to one of the most popular hills in Bogota, Colombia. It overlooks a beautiful landscape, the perfect spot for watching the sunset. This hilltop is both a tourist site and a symbol for Bogota's religious culture. It can be seen from any part of the city and serves as a reference point for residents. We leave you with a look at the Montserrat mountaintop. Thanks for watching. We'll see you again next week for another edition of America's Now.
Es mi deseo poder sacar que usted pide el deseo y ellos lo hacen realidad.